stop buying right now. If you have your credit card sitting on your desk right now, and you're just moments away from buying a brand new desktop computer, I need you to stop exactly what you are doing. You need to put that card away and listen very closely. Right now, there is a massive, incredibly well-hidden secret playing out in real time on Apple's official website. It is a secret that could save you a ton of money and stop you from making a huge purchasing mistake. But before we dive into the crazy shipping delays, the leaked performance numbers, and the massive changes coming to the Apple lineup, we need to talk about the star of the show. We need to talk about the Mac Mini. What is the Mac Mini? If you're new to the Apple world, or if you've only ever used big, loud, and clunky Windows desktop towers, you might be wondering what a Mac Mini actually is. Imagine taking the absolute fastest, most powerful computer you have ever seen and shrinking all of that raw power down into a beautiful, premium silver box that perfectly fits in the palm of your hand. That is the Mac Mini. It is an absolute masterpiece of modern engineering. People often believe that to get high-end speed for video editing, coding, or heavy office work, you need a giant computer case taking up half of your bedroom floor. The Mac Mini completely destroys that old myth. It sits quietly on the corner of your desk, looking incredibly sleek, while packing enough digital horsepower to handle absolutely any heavy task you throw its way. How do you use it? A lot of first-time buyers get a little confused when they look at the Mac Mini online. They see this tiny square box and ask, where exactly is the screen? Where's the keyboard? How do I even turn this thing on and use it? This is actually the greatest and most brilliant part of Apple's design. The Mac Mini is just the brain of the computer. Apple sells you the brain, and they give you the ultimate freedom to build your dream desk setup exactly the way you want it. Setting it up is ridiculously simple and takes less than 3 minutes. You take the power cord out of the box and plug it directly into your wall socket. Then, you look at the back of the Mac Mini where all the ports are located. You take a completely standard HDMI cable, plug one end into the Mac Mini, and plug the other end into any screen in your house. The ultimate freedom. You absolutely do not need to buy a super expensive Apple monitor to make this work. You can use an old PC monitor you have in your closet. You can buy a cheap monitor from the local electronics store. You can even take that HDMI cable and plug it directly into the giant flat-screen TV in your living room. The second you do that, your television instantly transforms into a massive, ultra-fast Apple desktop computer. After your screen is connected, you just grab any basic wireless mouse and keyboard. They do not have to be Apple brand. Any cheap USB or Bluetooth accessories will connect instantly. You push the small power button on the back of the silver box, and within mere seconds, you are greeted by Apple's incredibly fast, beautifully smooth Mac operating system. It never freezes, it does not overheat, and the internal fan is so quiet you will literally think the computer is turned off. It is pure, uninterrupted, lag-free power. The massive shipping delay. Now that you understand why the Mac Mini is the absolute best value computer on the entire market, we need to expose the massive secret that is unfolding right now. If you go to Apple's online store today and try to buy one of these current generation machines, everything looks completely normal at first glance. If you pick the cheapest, most basic model, the website says it will ship to your house immediately. But the absolute second you try to customize that computer, everything changes. The moment you click the button to add more memory or increase the internal storage space, the delivery dates completely vanish. You're suddenly hit with massive shipping delays. Your delivery date gets pushed back by several weeks, and for some specific high-end configurations, you're delayed by entire months. The secret phase out. In the highly secretive and tightly controlled world of Apple, this is the biggest and most obvious clue we can ever get. Apple operates the most efficient and perfectly timed supply chain on the entire planet. They do not just randomly run out of computer parts by accident. When custom shipping dates slip this badly across the entire website, it means Apple is purposely and strategically slowing down the production of their current models. They are actively clearing the path and emptying their warehouses because the highly anticipated M5 Mac Mini is right on the cusp of being released to the public. Apple does not want to be stuck holding thousands of old, outdated computers when a new generation takes over the market. They fade the old models out so the new models can take the spotlight. Now, to be completely fair and give you the full picture, there is another factor happening in the tech world right now. The entire global tech industry is currently fighting a massive memory shortage. Giant tech companies and social media platforms are buying up all the high-capacity RAM to build enormous, power-hungry artificial intelligence servers. Because of this massive AI boom, computer memory is getting much harder to source. But history tells us a very clear story. When Apple's custom configurations start getting delayed across the board like this, it is almost always an intentional phase-out. All of the industry rumors and supply chain clues are pointing directly to an official launch at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. This massive event kicks off on June 8th. Because this event is built specifically for software developers, coders, and tech professionals, it is the absolute perfect time and place to drop a brand new desktop powerhouse. M5 performance leaks. The leaked performance numbers for this upcoming M5 processor are truly jaw-dropping and hard to believe. The base-level M5 chip recently went through Geekbench 6 testing, and it scored a staggering 4,263 points in single-core performance. Let me put that into simple terms for you. That is currently the highest single-core score ever recorded for any consumer computer chip ever made in history. It completely outclasses incredibly expensive top-tier PC gaming chips like the AMD Ryzen 999 50X 3D. Apple has packed a highly optimized 10-core CPU into this tiny machine. It perfectly blends 4 high-performance cores for the heavy lifting, with 6 high-efficiency cores for simple background tasks. This brilliant setup allows the multi-core score to hit roughly 17,862. That is a massive 20% faster than the previous generation. What is even crazier is that this entry-level chip is getting dangerously close to the performance of the legendary M1 Ultra. The M1 Ultra was a massive, ultra-expensive processor from just a few years ago, and now you are getting that elite level of power inside Apple's cheapest computer, the M5 Pro Fusion chip. But the excitement absolutely does not stop there. The rumors surrounding the upgraded M5 Pro chip are even more mind-blowing. Apple is allegedly using a brand new engineering technique called a fusion architecture. Instead of trying to build one giant, incredibly complex processor, they're physically taking 2 separate super chips and seamlessly fusing them together into one single system. This brilliant engineering trick allows them to scale up the computer's performance massively without causing the machine to overheat or draw too much electricity. The multi-core scores for this M5 Pro variant are expected to easily push past the 25,000 mark. That kind of unbelievable power pushes this tiny desktop computer squarely into elite, high-end workstation territory. Whether you are editing massive multicam 4K videos, compiling millions of lines of code for app development, or running demanding local AI models right on your desk, this machine will handle it all without a single drop in speed. New base specs and pricing. However, as amazing as those raw performance numbers are, the most exciting change for the average buyer is going to be Apple's overall pricing strategy. For many years, the biggest complaint from the entire tech community has been Apple forcing people to start with a miserable 8 gigabytes of RAM. It was completely unacceptable for modern computing. But the industry is finally changing. Just like they recently did with the MacBook Air lineup, Apple is highly likely to finally bump up the base specifications. The dark days of starting with 8 gigabytes of memory and paying huge Apple fees to upgrade are over. We strongly expect the starting price of the new Mac Mini to slightly increase, likely landing at around $699. But in return for that slight price bump, the base model is expected to finally come. Standard with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage right out of the box. This simple, long overdue change would instantly make it an absolute steal. What should you do? So, what is the actual game plan for you in your wallet right now? If your current computer is completely dead, crashing every 5 minutes, and you absolutely need a reliable machine for work or school today, buying the current M4 model is still a fantastic choice. You are not making a mistake by buying it. It is incredibly capable, extremely fast, and will easily last you for many years to come. But if you have the luxury of waiting just a couple of months, you absolutely must hold off. When the M5 finally drops, you're going to be in the best possible position as a buyer. You will have the freedom to either buy the cutting-edge new version with the upgraded base specs, or you can grab the older M4 model at a massive, heavily discounted price. When the new computers arrive, third-party sellers like Amazon and Best Buy will dramatically slash the prices of the older models to clear their shelves. In my honest opinion, if Apple actually delivers this M5 Mac Mini at a $699 price point with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage as the standard, it will easily be the best value computer on the entire global market. Nothing in the Windows PC world will be able to touch that combination of low price, raw performance, completely silent operation, and software optimization. It will completely redefine budget computing for everyday creators, high school students, and home office setups. It is going to be worth every single second of the wait. If you enjoyed this massive deep dive and want to stay updated on all things tech without the fluff, do not forget to subscribe to the channel right now. Please share this video with a friend who desperately needs a computer upgrade, and hit that bell icon to catch all future uploads the second they drop. Catch you in the next one.